Hello everybody, welcome back to the Norries podcast. Before we get into it there, we just want to remind people that we're supported through Danny Donovan at quickminutes.com.
Yeah, Danny's a very good friend of both myself and James. He comes from the north side as well, and he grew up locally, and he's been a massive supporter of the podcast and both myself and James since we actually began. And he has his own company called Quick Minutes now, and
quickminutes.com is a meeting management application for semi-formal and formal meetings. And look, if you want to know more about that, quickminutes.com, and supporting Danny's supporting us. So if you're interested in that, check him out and enjoy the rest of the podcast. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Norries podcast. I'm your host James, and I'm joined as always by my good friend Timmy Long.
Hi everyone.
Ron is on the decks. Say hi Ron. And we are in Mountjoy Prison doing a podcast with Paddy Higgins. What's the form, Paddy?
All good, can't complain. All's good.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast.
You're more than welcome, no problem.
Yeah. Sorry we're small, but Dublin traffic, us cultures aren't prepared for the amount of people in Dublin.
Blaming on the traffic now, just
Google Maps is a big part to play in it now as well.
Yeah. But when you're driving in from the nearest road, it's fine, right? Then you get into Dublin, then there's so many roads, and on Google Maps it tells you go left, but there could be 5 left, small little lanes, but like, long story short anyway, we got here safe and sound. Good. And it's lovely to meet you. So we're obviously in Mountjoy, you're doing a sentence. Before we get into all that and what it's like in prison, bring us right back for the people that don't know you. Where you're from, what was it like growing up?
Patrick Higgins, I'm 33 in September. I was born in Birmingham. I grew up around the inner city, a place called Ormond Square, just off Capel Street. Lived there till I was about 10, 11 years of age, and then moved up to a place called the Old Cattle Market near the Phoenix Park. Yeah. And the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah, and how many brothers and sisters, mum and dad in the picture?
Father's passed away, mother's still alive. I have 2 brothers, 1 sister. Eldest brother's a footballer.
When you say he's a footballer, is he a professional footballer?
He could have been, but I think the whole children thing played a part in him drifting away. I think he's more a family man now, but he could have been. He could have been anywhere.
Very talented.
Yeah, like he got trials with Bury and stuff like that in England. He played with a team called Sheriff in Sheriff Street in the inner city. O'Devaney and Donard played with them. Won a lot of leagues. A lot of trophies, a lot of medals in the house.
Did you play ball yourself?
I was more a basketballer.
Well, yeah, you've the height for it anyway.
Yeah, more a basketballer. More a basketballer and a guitar man. Yeah.
And what was it like growing up?
Growing up for me was, I suppose, like any other person in Dublin in a city. There wasn't much money around, so a lot of drugs rifling around the place. We had this place called DCM. It's called Dublin Christian Mission. Growing up, and that kept a lot of the youths away from all the hard shit that was going on then. I'm a 90s kid, born in the 90s. There was a lot of drugs rifling then, especially in through the inner city. So we had this place where we could go and we could eat food, do homework club, and then we had like boys club in the evenings. They used to bring us camping, and then there was basketball in the evenings, or maybe church of a Sunday, and you go swimming or McDonald's, just things to keep you away from, I suppose, standing around blocks doing nothing, getting up to mischief,
And I suppose those things are really important within communities as well, to give children that are growing up a place to go to where they can get an education after school and learn good principles and values and
some people might look at youth work and think like, they're only bringing them go-karting and horse riding, but it's not real work, but it's 100% real work.
Even the social aspect of it.
Yeah. It was a home away from home, that kind of a thing.
A safe place,
Absolutely, yeah, it was a safe haven. No matter what was going on at home, you didn't see much of it because you were always away. You were always in this place. As soon as I wasn't really very good at school. I didn't spend a lot of time at school, but what time I did spend, it was all messing. So when you went to this place, you actually got a chance to get your head down and do a bit of homework and try and get some sort of education. Or
what age did you leave school?
I left school just before, in the middle of my junior cert. So I was 14, going 15, and that's there was deaths in the family. An uncle passed away, grandfather passed away. obviously I was at the moving up to a new area, so I was around. I was around people that was kind of bad influences, I suppose.
Do you know the area you left when you were 10 or 11? Was that a quieter area than the one you moved into?
Yeah, it was. It was a quieter area. When I moved up to Devney Gardens, there was a lot more robbed cars, a lot more drugs, a lot more people smoking hash and weed and all that kind of carry on drinking. You know, and as you get older, I suppose, then you start experimenting with alcohol and all other types of stuff that leads to another thing.
I suppose that's the norm when you move into the area, and the norm is having a smoke of weed or drinking or taking ease or taking benzos or whatever. Like, you're not, if you're outside that circle, you're going to feel like the odd one out.
Absolutely,
and you're going to want to fit in.
Yeah,
so I suppose the easiest thing to do is just to maybe fall in.
You have to fall in, or you're an outcast kind of a thing, you know. You know, there's a lot of people that grew up in school that, you know, around that area that kind of done their own thing. Like, you'd have, like, say, the foundation level lads that'd always be in a clique, would always meet up before school or after school, smoke their joints, all that carry on. And then you had the other lads that were, like, ordinary and higher levels, which were always playing football and maybe had part-time jobs and, you know, stuff like that. I kind of wish I was in that crowd, but, you know, I have no regrets, you know. We all have our own 100%. Journey in life. I have no regrets.
Do you know the only regret I used to have when I was in addiction was, do you know, being a part of the footballing group, that was good in school, involved in sports, being a part of that. But then as I got older, around the same age as yourself, kind of drifting away from that. But then when you're in your 20s and you're looking at those lads then, and they're driving nice cars and they've got nice girlfriends.
Just stick with them.
Yeah, and you're fucking, in the district court up by a fucking, something stupid, or strung out of your head.
Yeah, of course.
It's a bit like...
You know what you're saying there now, James, though, right? I'm looking at him now, right? And see what those lads have. Like, it's after taking them 20 years to get that. And I see what he's after accomplishing in a short number of years since he got into recovery, and you have that awareness. So it's actually doable in a shorter space of time when you have your head well screwed on, you know? Isn't it?
Yeah, so the years aren't wasted.
Do you know?
Because by the time you go through all this and you get your head together, then you hit the ground running when you're ready for it, do you know what I mean?
But is it time wasted? I wouldn't class it as time wasted.
It's never, do you know what it is? It gives you those life skills that you don't get, the other people don't have. It gives you that inner strength and resilience that others don't have.
But you know, if you're strung out, and you're in a prison cell now, watching it, or you're at home, and you might think you're wasting your life. But you know, all that hardship you're going through, that'll be the thing that'll stand here when you get yourself together.
Yeah, of course.
Because it takes a lot of resilience, determination to come around from that, you know.
Absolutely.
So there's and it builds your character, doesn't it? To come through all that shit, you know.
Yeah, as we were saying before we kicked off here, you know, everyone has their own journey. You know, your life experience and your own, and maybe my own. Maybe one day it might help one person, you know, and if it does, and that's an achievement in itself.
I'll tell you something, right? What you're doing here is going to help a lot more than one person.
I hope so. I hope
Trust
so.
me, Pat.
We probably got a few people laughing at you. Oh, look at this fella, but you know, like, life,
we get that. We all get it.
you know, you can be as judgmental as you want, but you know, I'm on my own journey. My end goal is to go home to my little daughter and my partner. That's always supporting me through everything. And people can say what they want, you know, but I hope a positive comes from it.
Like, you might walk down the landing, right, and you might get one or two fellas laughing and say, you know, look at him doing that. But you know what? The mature fellas, the fellas that's on the right path, they'll see the value in what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not that the other lads don't. That's just where they're at the moment.
Yeah, of course.
And they need a bit mature, and they're not ready yet. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, they want what you have. They just would never tell you.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The other side of it too is, you know the way we grow up in certain areas, and we're institutionalised in and out of prison, and you know that is our norm.
Yeah, that's the norm.
It's up to people like you, James, me, and others that are on the same journeys to show them that doesn't have to be the way.
It's a different path.
That doesn't have to be the norm. That norm doesn't have to be the life. Because I didn't see any way out of life, out of crime, out of drugs, out of violence, out of prison, out of just complete utter madness. I didn't see anything. Yeah. But when I seen one person doing what we're doing now and what you're doing, you know, someone that had that life before, but they haven't got that life now, and I looked at what they had, and the most important thing that stood out to me was they had a smile in their face, and they were genuinely happy. And then I said, nah, I want that. I want that, like.
Yeah.
So
what was it like for you when when you were experimenting? What age was that, and how did that start?
I think the first time I smoked a joint was maybe 9. Yeah, I was
Pretty
really,
young.
Yeah, I was really young. Yeah, there was a few lads from a place called St. Michan's House, that were kind of, little runts, and I always tried to surround myself with kind of half decent people.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know, maybe my journey was already set out. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say 9 years of age, I smoked my first joint. Got sick all over the place. went home. My man was like, "What's wrong with you?" I just gone to bed, not feeling well, kind of a thing. She'd probably kill me now after saying that, But, it was really young, really young.
What's your mum's name?
Pamela.
Do you want to say hi to your mum?
Of course, big shout out to Pam.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Pamela.
Yeah, she'd be saying to me now, "There's my Parko." That's what my mum calls me, Parko. Yeah. I only had a visit with her there a couple of weeks ago. I hadn't seen her, like a lot of families in and out of prison, and even on the outside, a lot of us haven't seen our families, and I talked to her on the regular. My ma's had the same thing, addiction problems, growing up, and she's had to turn her whole life around. She's clean now. She's 20 odd years. She's a carer.
Brilliant.
She's in a stable relationship.
There's a good role model as well.
She is. She is. She's an inspiration now. All the time I say, well, maybe not often enough, but I tell her, man, I'm proud of you. Yeah. And she says the same thing to me now and again.
We'll be on to Pamela for the podcast, yeah.
Possibly. She might give us a run for his money, lads, to be honest,
And there's probably a tear rolling down her eye now after listening to that.
She probably strangle money is at the end of the year.
But so you started off smoking hash like most people. When you left school, did it get worse for you? That usually what happens now when you leave school, you have more time on your hands. It was drinking or...
It all happened in around the same time, so I used to be a bollocks for getting up in the mornings. My mum would come in and be 11 o'clock, and of a Wednesday in Brunswick Street School, St. Paul's CBS, that's where I used to go to school. Of a Wednesday, you'd finish school at 12 o'clock. I'd be rocking in at 11:30. No bleeding tie on, a fucking hoodie jumper on, my mum be always, get up for school, and I was always getting suspended, always fighting, always getting into trouble. I just couldn't take the school, and that's when I got my foot, I picked up too many charges. Grandfather passed away.
You were picking up charges at this age as well?
I was picking up, Mickey Mouse things, criminal damage,
public orders,
robbing cars, fucking drunk and disorderly, public order stuff, but they accumulated, and I could see every time I was coming home, bringing police to the door, it was killing me, man. I could tell, because my mum was at the doing it with my father for so many years, coming up, and I had an ultimatum in court. I could have done 2 years probation, or do 2 years in a place called Trinity House School. And I said, lock me up. And it was the best thing I ever done. I went to college over. I became a fisherman for 5 years. It was the best decision I ever done.
What was it like in Trinity House?
Trinity House School was like a holiday home. It was brilliant. It was, it's not like officers. To staff there, they connect to you on just a totally different level. You go out on mobilities. Is
it like Oberstown? Or
it's similar. It's in the same campus as Oberstown. So you have Oberstown and you have Trinity House School, Russ and Dusk. And Trinity House was a bit more secure. Oberstown was like male and females.
Yeah.
But I think I got lucky in a way, because I got sentenced in the summer. My birthday was in the September. I think I got sentenced in August, maybe 4 or 5 weeks before me out. So if I had went to Pats, I know my life would have changed. I see so many people that came from Pats, but as soon as they hit 18, they're in and out of Mountjoy.
What age were you when you went to
I was 15, going on 15, So once you hit 16, it's Patrick's. Once you're under 15, it's Trinity House School. So I've done 18 months in Trinity House School. But to be honest, I liked it down there. It was weird. I was always one of them lads, because I came up and seen my father so many times in jail. I was one of them lads, I'd love to know what prison, and driving down the I think it's the M1 down to Skerry, the Old Swords Road. I'm like, what am I out there doing? Why not just take
the reality hits you then, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the first thing, I walked in, and you walk down this big long corridor, and there's just this big head sticking out a window. And I'm like, fuck, said it. I can't take it back now, so just roll with it,
When you just bring it back a sec there, you said that you know, coming in to see your father in prison when you were young and stuff. Do you know, I would have seen things like that as well with different family members. And did you want to go to prison then, because you could see like the respect people were getting in the area for being to prison? And was that something that went through your own head as well?
It was a curiosity thing, I think. It was a real like, oh, that seems weird, that looks good. Or, you know, when you're growing up, like, you hear so many stories about prison, it's this, it's that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it was like a subconscious thing. When I think back of it now, it was like, maybe I just wanted to understand or something, maybe what my dad was going through at the time. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I think it was like a subconscious thing, you know.
But it makes sense, because I remember coming up here to visit my dad. He was in the training unit, and there's a curiosity about it. There is definitely curiosity, but then even in my estate where I grew up, you know, I was looking up to Timmy, and they were going, you know, involved in crime, and the joyriders had, you know, the respect, and it was cool.
They were known as the lads.
Yeah, and it was
you
like
wanted to be
the role models we had tended to go to prison. So growing up, like me and our group of friends, we felt it was inevitable we were going there someday. So there was like almost an expectation and an anticipation that, and then there's the street cred. I said it before, you know, the first time I ever went to prison was for a 5-day fine, right? And I got out of there with stories like a fella that did 5 years, you know, because it was the cool thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but as soon as you do a bit of work, it's like, oh, you're respected now. He's all right, he's done a few days, but it's only 5. You know,
how immature it is, you know what I mean? But when you're young, that's the mentality, isn't it?
Yeah,
But that's what you aspire to be. You aspire to go to prison because it becomes part of your life.
Yeah.
You know, your dad's probably after prison, your uncle's after being to prison. Like it doesn't seem right if you don't go to prison. You know, it's like an army thing, where the generational thing, going into the army. It's like the same thing with prison, and you said it there.
It's like you have to
about
follow
the respect.
footsteps.
Yeah, it's like respect. You get it. I used to love hearing that. Your dad was in prison, and your uncle was in prison. I said, fuck yeah, I'm mad, no, because they were in prison kind of thing. Yeah, my dad was in prison now, my uncle was in prison now. You know, you feel like you're, just watch him, his dad's in prison. You know.
I done a sentence with my father in 2012, and there's still a few lads here, I won't say any names, but there's still a few lads here that remembered me, you know, and remembered my father. My dad was well respected, you know, around prison, because he's done a lot of jail and stuff like that. But my dad was doing 3 years at the time, I got 15 months. Only a short sentence, but you know, when you're doubled up with him, it's like, fucking hell, what's going on here? What are we at, like?
I say it's a reality thing for him.
It was like, I'm locked up with my son here, you know.
The realisation then of like, this is the result of my actions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they can feel guilty about that, you know what I mean?
He did. For a long time, he felt very responsible, but then in the same way, so did I, because when he got out, I tried to take care of him, but my dad was too far gone. He spent, my dad, as I was saying to you earlier before we started, my dad I think it was like 31, 32 years in prisons and institutions. And he died when he was 53, like. So it's most of his life. It's all he knew.
Life, isn't it?
It's all he knew was prison, you know.
That's great awareness you have around that for your father, you know, looking at his life and understanding that he had his own stuff going on, and that he probably wasn't able to give you exactly what you know.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. Like me, as I was saying, my dad wasn't there a lot. My mum reared the 4 of us on her own, and you know, of course, when you have like the runt of a litter, I call myself, you know, that can't be nice either for a mother. You know, I'm a parent now as well. I don't, you know, before I came in, I was like, Paddy, what the fuck are you doing, you know?
What age is your kid?
She's 6 now. Shout out to Mia.
Can you, what's her name?
Mia.
Hi, Mia.
Hello, Mia.
So we try and keep it age appropriate, no cursing in case she's watching.
Yeah, of course.
You said you smoked hash when you were 9. Can you imagine, like, only when you have a kid, and I don't have a kid, but I think of my nephews when I think about this, you know, like how young 9 actually is. Do you know what I mean? When your kids come up, you think like how fucked up it is that to be smoking hash at the age of 9. Like, should be playing with playing FIFA on the Xbox, or playing with dolls, or, you know, do something not rolling a joint.
No.
But as you said, like, you've your story, your dad has his own background, your mum has their own background, our parents have their own backgrounds. It's nobody's fault. This is just the way it is, but it's up to people then to break the cycle, like your mum and like what you're doing now. Yeah. So did you progress? Obviously things got worse for you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
No, things got better.
When you got out of Trinity?
When I got out of Trinity, things were still kind of the same, you know. I was with a girl. things were okay. I was fishing, I was working, I was doing a bit of security. Things were okay for a while. Then the relationship broke apart. And things spiraled then again a little bit. Got with a new partner, the one I'm with now. And things were okay for another while. I was working with my uncle and stuff like that, doing a bit of painting and decorating, just keep myself busy, but still kind of acting bollocks on weekends and when there was no work, you know, drinking, fucking snorting coke and stuff like that, and just being stupid.
Yeah.
And things were okay then for a little while. And I got spiked at a Deb's party and went fucking mental. Nearly got shot by police and fucking, it was a mental time, and that's when I ended up getting the 15 months.
Yeah.
When I ended up going to Clover Hill, doing a sentence with my father. Things were okay. When I got out for a little bit, I was working with my partner's brother. He gave me a job the day I got out. Paddy, stay busy, you know, gave me an apprenticeship, doing bathrooms, bespoke bathrooms. Everything was okay for a couple of years. But then when my father got out of prison, he had nowhere to go, obviously. So I thought, right, it's my turn. You know, I tried to be a father figure to my own father. Tried to take care of him and his partner. But just couldn't. It was just too big of a task, you know. There was just so much going on at the time. And yeah, you know, sometimes I'd be going to work and I'd see him asleep with his partner at a Lewis station. I'd be like, I'd just see the little red hair sticking out of sleep, and I'd be like, Dad, is that you, like?
Yeah.
So what the fuck, like, you know? So
How do you feel about that, Pat? How do you feel now about it?
I think that's, I remember one day we were living in Rathmines, me and my partner, and my partner just had Mia, and I was going to walk, and where I used to go, I used to cut through a place called Renla Park, and up at the top of it there's a big slide, and it's like a tree house for kids. And I was walking through it, and I seen my dad's partner's head popping up. It's like 7:30 in the morning. And I says, Sandra, is that you? Like, hey, son. She was at that coming all the way up and sleeping close to our home. And I swore to myself, that's it. I can't be walking by my dad. There's a little bit of space on the floor, throw him on the floor. So I kind of took care of them, me and my partner, for like a year and a half. You know, giving them that drink every day, making sure they were eating. Like, they were still acting the bollocks with drugs, they were still using drugs. But yeah, it was kind of weird. But then we couldn't do it anymore. I knew it's either one or the other. You know, I was slacking away on work. I was giving excuses to my boss and the foreman. Oh, look, I can't come in today. But really, all I wanted to do was just be at home with my dad, just to make sure he was okay.
He was a full-time job in himself, like.
Yeah, absolutely, he was, like. And then we had a newborn baby. Mia was premature and stuff. She was only home. We were living in kind of a pretty old place, you know. It wasn't heated very well. It was just too big of a task that I couldn't take on, you know. But I thought, I can handle all this, but I couldn't handle it all. And you know, one week, I remember the weekend he passed away, I was like, look, me and the missus and the baby, we need just this weekend alone. So the next day he was dead, he was gone. Yeah, there was nothing you could do. And I felt guilty, because I was like, if I had just kept him for that weekend, would he be still here today? But
the way the lifestyle he was living, it would just been another weekend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
it was just another weekend.
Yeah.
It was his time. It was his time, you know.
Maybe, look, he probably had enough suffering at that stage of his life as well.
I think so as well, yeah.
And that guilt thing there that you spoke about
played a lot on my mind, and you know, I quit my job. I was acting the bollocks then with drinking drugs again. Got heavy into it. You know, it just became a novelty, you know. I wasn't paying rent. My partner was sick and tired of me, but still was hanging on because she knew I was a better person. Started picking up charges to support the drug habit, and then fucking what do you know, I end up in here again. But I was doing so well for a good 7 years, like, you know, like really in a good positive place. And took me a long time to get over with the father's death and stuff like that. But yeah, look, everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. It's we can all sit and cry. We've all lost people. We've all went through hardship, but
pick ourselves back up.
You have to.
And also maybe look at some of the stuff that's going on emotionally for us to strengthen ourselves back up. Maybe through psychotherapy sessions with psychotherapists, and going like for me, AA, NA. They were instrumental in my own recovery, and I know James's 12-step programs. Making sure that you're around people that are good for you.
Yeah, positive.
Very positive.
It's vital.
That's very important, and it doesn't matter if it's in prison or on the outside. Because when you do go on the outside, it's a different life and different recovery to the inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, of course.
And you have to be very, 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 very careful and vigilant that you don't go around the same circles as before. You don't go around the same places, and you mind yourself, and you get all the help and services that are there.
You have to be selfish.
Oh, you do?
You have to be selfish,
It's 100%. And you're making your job now is to make sure that in years to come, Mia is not walking through the park looking at her daddy. Do you know what I mean? You're breaking the cycle now, like your mum did, like you, so that the next generation of Higgins is coming up behind you have a better quality of life,
Yeah, I never want to see me daughter going through any of that stuff.
She won't either, from what I can see today.
I hope so. I really do. I pray. Like, I will do everything. Like, at the moment, I'm in a really good place. I'm writing music again. I'm in a really good place. When I finally do go home, I'm going to do everything in my power just to... Look, you can only do so much. Mia has her own journey as well written out. But whatever I can do to just be a positive role model in her life, that's what I'm going to do. She's my little girl,
Sounds like you have a good woman there as well.
Kira gets a lot of shit from some of the family, but Kira's been my rock for the last 13 years. Absolutely my rock. She's been through the sentence with my father. She's been through all the shit that I put her through. She's stuck by it all, and she's still here today. And it's especially these days. It's very hard to find a loyal woman that loves you for who you are, And
seeing you at your worst.
Yeah, seeing me at my worst and my best, and knows that. Like, she always says to me, Paddy, look, you're so much better than that, the reason why I fell in love with you is because I knew you were a good person, that kind of way.
My wife gets asked the same question about me.
Why you with him?
Why you, like, after, when they hear what I put her through, a lot of them, they don't know the full extent of it either, trust me. And they say...
Yeah, I'm saying about...
and they say, why did you stay with him? Like, what?
You deserve that,
you know what she says? I loved him. Yeah. I just loved him, I know he was a good person. I spent the off days when he wasn't causing chaos with him, and I could see deep down that there was a good person there and that there was love there. I wasn't able to give it as much as I can give it today.
Yeah.
Back then, even when I was off the drugs and the drink, because I was so caught up in my head and caught up in all the madness, but they love us, and you said it there, good women. They're very hard to come with. But you know what? You
can't get them these days,
do you know what? Do you know fellas like us who are destroyed from drugs and involved in crime and prison and everything else? Somehow we attract really good women. And that's the real reality of it.
Sometimes mad women.
Yeah, listen, look, we've all been with a few headbangers, but Kira does... I want my life, If she wasn't in my life, God knows where I'd be. If my daughter wasn't in my life, God knows where I'd be.
So you've a lot to focus on now for when you get out.
A lot.
Will you tell us, for the people that are watching and listening that know nothing about prisons, will you tell us what Mountjoy is like and what it's like day to day for you at the moment?
Well, I'm in the progression unit at the minute, which is a lot handier than the main jail. You're out at 9:15 every morning.
What is the progression unit? What's the
progression unit's supposed to be drug free. It's a chance to kind of... There's different platforms over here where you can do a lot more different things. Whereas you're kind of restricted in the main jail, put it that way.
Is it like what the training unit used to be?
Similar. You've a lot more freedom. So you have the school mornings and after dinners. You have the gym, which the gym hasn't been on a lot. Yeah. I need to get that in there because as you know, prison consists routine.
Yeah.
And especially here, everybody, like, I'd say 80% of people go to the gym, and when the gym isn't on, that's when people start sliding
And
away.
is that a COVID thing? Why hasn't
No,
been
I
on?
think it's just a staff thing.
Do you know what? The
honest.
same issues in Cork, because I was in Cork recently, the exact same issue, and I think staffing is a huge issue for the prison service, you know. But it's like when I used to go to the prison, the gym was a huge part of
It's
my life.
number
Do you know
one
what I mean?
priority for prisoners. It keeps that healthy, it keeps the body healthy. And when they haven't got that, that's when you start straying away to other things.
Because you don't have you don't have a chance to release that aggression and that energy,
Absolutely,
you
of
know.
course, yeah. Like, it's like medication for a lot of these lads in here.
So, do you know, when you wake up in the morning, what time are you walking up? What time are you out? What's it like?
I'm awake for breakfast, 8 o'clock. Go down, grab your breakfast, back up, wash, maybe a shave, cup of coffee, and you're out, and then you're in the school till pretty much dinner time.
What are you doing in the school?
I'm doing music at the minute, recording an album with Jerry Hendricks.
And the Jimmy?
No, not to Jimmy. But Jerry's a good lad. Like, Jerry's taught me an awful lot. I do the choir. A few of the lads do the choir. We recently had a thing with the American ambassador there on the weekend. She came in. It was Johnny Cash's 90th birthday. So we done.
Big fan of Johnny Cash.
Yeah. We done 50 Shades of Green, Folsom Prison Blues, and the Old Triangle. So that was great, and we were able to have that's the difference with the mains and the progression unit. Our families was able to come in, so my missus was there. Some of the lads haven't seen their family in a couple of years. I've been able to hold them, so you're able to sit there and have refreshments, a few croissants, cup of coffee, and hold your family.
That's Christmas Day here, then, isn't it? That is like Christmas Day when you can actually touch your family.
Unbelievable! Like, we had to help the lads clean up, wrap up all their equipment and stuff like that. And we were out, I was standing out there with the flowers, sun beaming down at 7:30, 8:15 at night. And you're like, everyone else is banged up in their cells. There's this, like, didn't feel right. When you get that butterfly feeling when you're going, or when you're coming into jail, or when you're leaving. That's what that feeling was like, didn't get banged up till 10:30 at night, kind of thing. It's
Do you know, being on the progression unit as well over here, is it a lot more relaxed? You don't feel that at unease like you would in the main jail?
There's officers around, but you're given freedom. So you're not, there's none of this, like, lads, bang a blade now, fall in. There's none of that carry on. You can come in and out of the yards. You can come in and out to there's a small little gym down on the landings. There's always something going on. Whether it's poker, whether it's a game of dawn, whether it's a football match.
Do you know, in the main jails, there'd be a lot of, like, cliques and drugs and dynamics between prisoners and violence. Is the progression unit that, if that happened, that wouldn't be tolerated, so it's a safer space, is it?
Well, there's swabs and stuff over here, so...
is there?
Yeah.
Can you explain what a swab is there?
A swab is just a random, so they could call me Patrick Higgins swab test there. They give it a swab. If you're dirty, you're going back to the main test. Dirty as in testing positive for drugs, crash, opiates, cocaine, any sort of stuff like that, and you're going back.
And
to
that's
the
what you're jeopardising. You're jeopardising this to go back to the main jail.
Yeah, to the like I says over here, you've a lot of freedom. You're given a lot of, like, okay, it's in your hands now, pretty much. If you want to fuck her up. You go back to the main jail, and that's the way it is. And a lot of people do, but to be honest, I'm only over here since the end of January, start of February.
Yeah.
It's just so relaxed. It just doesn't feel like that prison environment. I know you get banged up for your lunch and stuff like that, and at 7 o'clock you're master locked, 8 o'clock master lock off, but there's just that sense of
freedom.
Of freedom.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
I remember when I was in the Midlands, just before I came out, the enhanced landings came on the scene back in was it 2014. And it was like, this was a new thing in the prison at the time, and everybody wanted to be on the enhanced landing. It's the same now as the progression unit here, same thing.
Everyone's
just cell orders open for the day then.
The top landing, they had their own fridge on the landing, they had a microwave. These are things now that nobody else
George
had.
Foreman's.
Yeah, the whole lot. And the gate was locked and the cells were open. It was like, this place up here was just so relaxed. Everybody just went and came as they wanted to. Down here then it was just, the stress levels were different,
100%, yeah. Like, every use now, it's a micro society in prison, and when you're in the main jail, there's a lot of cliques going on. There's a lot more tension and stuff like that. Everyone's just, how are you? Good morning. Everyone's just happier over here, I suppose. Everyone's just, there's a lot of trustees walking around. You can have a fry up whenever you want. You get one of the lads to bring you back a few eggs, a few sausages, a few rashers.
You
only got a fry at Christmas over there, and when you do, it's bleeding. Corn sausages and fucking pudding that's rock solid, an egg that's like out of the spar at 8:30 at night, like a brick with greens sticking out, and it's not very good, to be honest. But when you can cook your own fry, you're in a better environment, I suppose.
Do you link in with any services in the prison, like psychology
I'm doing
or anything
addiction
like that?
counselling at the moment.
How's that going for you?
You what?
How's that going for you?
Yeah, very well. Kate is, she's like another mother, put it that way. You can go up there and just be as open as possible. There's no judgment with that. There's
the relationship is vital with the counsellor, isn't it?
Absolutely. I just finished psychology and stuff like that. There's a lot of services. No matter what you want to do here, you will get on it.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I still have to say the negatives, because I have to be totally honest.
Yeah.
There could be a lot more done, for certain prisoners and stuff like that. Even myself, there could be more opportunities. Like, I finished psychology, and I was told, okay, Patrick, we'll assess you, we'll make a recommendation, but we'll see you in a year's time. I'm out in 2024. There's not, I'm at the spilling my heart out for the last 3 months to you, telling you all this kind of stuff. You are there jogging you, and now it's okay, we'll see you in a year's time. I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah.
And that's just me speaking. I don't think it's good enough. I was kind of getting into it. I was building a relationship with this woman, with the psychology services, and now it's okay, we'll see you in a year's time. It's just...
So the psychology services aren't resourced as well as they could be, I
don't know whether it's a funding team, but there is a team of them here. I just thought, okay, it took 1.5 years to see us.
How long it took?
That's how long
because
it took.
of COVID and everything else, yeah.
Well, I don't know what it was over.
I think it's because there's the demand for the service, and there's only a certain amount of them.
Okay.
So like, even if you're doing a short sentence, like, as I work on drug and alcohol services, right? So if somebody's in prison and they want to go from prison straight into residential treatment, they have to be assessed by the psychology. But unless they're doing a few years, they're not going to be in long enough to get the assessment. Do you know what I mean? Because the waiting list is over a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you're doing short sentences, you're kind of...
forget about it.
Yeah, you're forgotten about it.
And then you get, you're caught in that cycle then of coming in and out, but the intervention isn't happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's a resource thing. I think probably the psychologist would love to fucking... link in with you.
Yeah, maybe they could distribute that time a little bit better as well. I'm not too sure now. I know there's a team of them here. I think there's at least 7, 8 of them maybe.
What other frustrations have you? The gym obviously is a big one as well.
Gym is a big thing. Now, I don't do the gym as much as a lot of lads, but when the gym isn't on, you just see the heads dropping. Oh, fucking no gym again. That, like...
There's nothing for the morale on the landing, like.
No, and they're all out there in the yard working out and doing pull-ups out of the bars or whatever kind of a thing. Yeah. Gym is I think gym is the most important thing in prison. It is, for stress. There's a lot of lads that box, they do pads, the sparring sessions. Nothing heavy. Or good sparring session, and you need that. People have a problem with one another. Look, lash the gloves on. We'll have a little sparring session. None of this fucking. Or I'll see you in the morning, or I'll see you before falling, and whipping out blades and all that carry on. But it's just a much more relaxed environment.
Have you got physical contact visits?
Yeah, they came back there, I think 3 weeks ago. So,
how long are you without masks?
There's no mask now. The last 2 weeks. Now you can still wear one if you want, but I don't think they're mandatory anymore. It's probably different on the outside, is it?
No, it's grand. It's the same on the outside.
No mask at all on the outside. Well, that's handy. I know my mother still wears one because she's carer. That's the wear one. But
I was at a Simply Red concert last night, and the marquee was about 5,000
I was just trying to imagine him dancing to make up.
He wasn't even supposed to say that. That's why he was late, wasn't it? Yeah.
We'll edit that out. We'll edit that out for we'll put in fucking Bob Marley or something.
I'm actually away from everything for the last about 10.5 years, and I feel like I'm after a week's bender, to be honest with you, because I feel pure, kind of just lack of sleep, really. But what was I going to say? I can't remember. Go on. What were you going to say?
I was just saying about like, you know, there's obviously frustrations. You know, when I came up, you were at the talk I gave here. I remember in the chapel a few weeks ago, and there was frustrations there for some of the prisoners about, you know, some of the officers and stuff like that. But what I would just say to you and anybody kind of watching is there's a lot of stuff you can't control.
Yeah.
And it'll fucking drive you mad if you focus all your attention on that stuff you can't control. Just work with what you can and fucking do your best to get through it.
Yeah.
And because a lot of those systems, they'll move very, very slowly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like stuff like this will help, don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely,
And we can
of course.
advocate and we can talk to governors and whoever, do you know what I mean? But it'll turn very slowly, you know. But all you can do when you're in here is just do what you're doing, you know, it's really working for you. You know what I mean? You're in good shape. Mentally,
Try and keep
physically,
morale up. Well,
emotionally.
look, but you know, when my door bangs out, like gym isn't as much my thing as it is the lads,
Yeah.
but my thing is music. So, and you know, I try and write down whatever negative thoughts and, you know, and maybe put them in. That's my thing, you know. I do a bit of reading.
What's your hopes for the future? You're out in 2024, 2 years.
I'm out in 24. Look, I don't have any hopes for it. All I'm focused on now is just getting me head right. I have to get me head right, and I have to keep reflecting all the time on what went wrong. Was it the people I was with? Was it this? Was it that? All that kind of stuff. All I'm focused on now is just getting my own head right, so that way I can just be a father to my child and be a partner to my partner.
Yeah,
Do you know?
and you know all this the stuff around, you know, your dad and the family home and, you know, the traumas that you've experienced, you know. It's about now like learning new ways of actually coping with that stuff so that you don't need to have the drink or the coke or whatever. You know what I mean?
But
And that's
look,
what you're doing.
I found it in music. Whenever I
Exactly,
have
yeah.
a negative thought, I throw it down on a piece of paper, and you know, I'll try and either make a song of it or. Well, look, I have to realise that all the negative stuff that has happened in my life, you know, there has to be positives from negatives, you know, and vice versa, you know.
You know, in Dublin, is there, you know, we in Cork, we have the Cork Alliance, which is
The Cork Alliance.
a charity that,
The pathways in Dublin.
Pathways, is it?
Yeah, I
Will
think
you-
they have pathways up here, yeah.
Is Pathways something that maybe you could connect
Possibly,
with?
I haven't looked into it. I know there's a couple of lads that go to Pathways. I think a few lads off the Lifers land in Bewing go out to Pathways and go out to what's it called now? Pace. Ever heard of Pace?
There's a sale project. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's
the
just, listen, they're just projects that help prisoners when they get out. And it's no harm to have a little bit of support when you get out, just somewhere
of
to
course,
go, pick up the phone to, you know, as well as meetings or whatever else, other support you have, you know. But the music is great.
Yeah.
What kind of music? Is it folk music or?
It's just, I just write about whatever I'm feeling. Yeah, just my own thoughts, my own life journeys, stuff like that. More ballads, I suppose.
Have you got like a CD made?
I'm doing an album at the minute with Jerry. When it comes out, I'll give you a shout, lads.
Do send it down.
No, I will. I promise. Look,
Until that album comes out, though, we'll have to get a song out of you.
okay, where's the guitar?
Guitar
Grab
there.
it.
I'll grab it for you.
No pressure on that, like. It's only a cheap yoke, but it does the job. So look, as we were talking about my father, and this will probably relate to people that's out there, you know, this is called living on the streets. My father read this when after my dad got out after doing a 10-year sentence, he used to work in a place called Eddie Rockets. Everyone knows Eddie Rockets. So there was a 12-year-old kid that used to sit outside this place every single night. And when my dad closed the shop, any food and milkshakes that was left over, he'd come out. He'd give it to this kid. So he wrote a song and raised money for Focus Ireland. So it's called Living on the Streets, yeah? Bear with me now, no pressure. Living on the streets, night and day. He sees them, but they don't see him. And maybe it's the way through poverty, fighting back his hunger and his pain, while he sits there listening to the morning rain as it ricochets off shop window panes. People passing by, heads held high. They'll stop, look and they'll stare, with no worries, not a care. And night time closes in, and again he cannot win. Tomorrow may be a better day. Living on the streets is no price to pay. He still bears the pain of his old man's ways. His mother rest her soul. He's here but alone, and now he calls the Dublin streets his home. And is he just a man without a name, living on the streets without a tiger's claim? And my time here again, tomorrow maybe then, it may be a better day. Living on the streets is no price to pay. Well, boss. That's living on the streets anyway, yeah.
Run, Paddy. I was thinking of Damien Dempsey.
The hand was locking up there. I'm still a novice when it comes to, like, you know, performing in front of the
You actually, for somebody that's playing the guitar for the length of time you are, you're actually very, very good, and you have a very, very, very good voice.
I appreciate a few people. Look, a lot of people have been saying, "Paddy, keep it up. You're very good." But you know, when you hear yourself back, like, I'm sure, you know, when you first set up your podcast and like, do we really sound like that?
Cringing.
Yeah, do we really fucking sound like that? But no, much appreciated.
But you know what? We were on the Late Show a couple of weeks ago, and we'd fun. You know, we were relaxed and we were confident. But a couple of years ago, when we started out, it would have been way different. But there's a bit of self-acceptance. Thinking, you know what? I am who I am. Fuck it, isn't it?
That's one. Yeah, that's one
and
thing.
And if I
I've
enjoy
tried
it,
to,
that's it. Like.
There, a couple of months ago, there was a talent show up in the church, and usually I'm just used to singing in front of 4 or 5 prisoners in the cell, but there was a whole bleeding group of prisoners up there, you know, and I sang 4 songs. I sang Ride On, a song that I wrote for my daughter called
Christy Moore is a big fan of the podcast.
Ride On, yeah, love all this stuff. My dad loved him, he loved all that, loved him. So I sang that one, Living on the Streets, Yellow Feathered Birdie that I wrote for my daughter, Zombies. What was the other one I sang? Zombies, Yellow Feathered Birdie, Ride On, and On the Streets. Yeah, them 4 songs. And after that, I didn't even know I was at getting a standing ovation. But everyone was like, "Paddy, I'm bleeding deadly." But you know, I suppose every musician.
You wrote a song for your daughter.
Yeah, I wrote a song for my daughter called Yellow Feathered Birdie. Yeah. Has like a little whistle and all in it. Look,
Do you want to sing it?
I've no plectrum.
Do you need a plectrum, or is it a picking or?
No, there's no pick in it. There's
even a taster. If you had a taster of it.
A taster? Okay. So There's a yellow feather birdie that sings all night long, and he sits in the garden from dusk till dawn. Oh, I don't know where he's from, but it seems he has no home. I can tuck you between my blanket for warmth, because I know, oh, I know, I know how it feels to be alone. Oh, yellow feathered birdie, it's maybe here you belong. This yellow feathered birdie, he makes me feel young. And while we play in the garden, oh, he'll chirp out a song, but it seems he has no one else for his love song. Can you tuck me beneath your feathers? We'll go. We can sing some soothing songs. We can sing them all day long. Oh, yellow feathered birdie, won't you sing me a song? Something like that anyway, yeah.
That was unreal.
Yellow feather birdie, yeah. A few mistakes there as well.
That was
Getting my own songs out there, wrote them.
There was a lovely melody to it as well.
Yeah, a few people said to me it's a good tune, but
It is. It's a great tune. It's a lovely, soft.
Will you do
melody.
us a favour, please?
Write a two Norries song?
a two Norries song.
Two
Leave it
Norries.
with me.
Yeah, but
Just continue with your music, pal.
I will, I promise, I will.
Seriously,
I'll
like-
keep up with it.
And fucking make your daughter, and I'm sure your daughter's proud of you already.
I sang her for her up at the weekend just gone. We done, as I was saying, we done the choir thing, you know. I was in a little corner and sang it, and she was crying and stuff like that. And yeah, it's real, yeah. Yeah, look, I want to make her proud as well. Yeah. So she has a little guitar and all now. So yeah, look, it's something. Look, it works for me. Yeah. I don't know if it works for many other people, but it works for me. Yeah. It's, you know, it puts a smile on my face.
What's work for you, it might be the worst nightmare for somebody else, but something else will work for them.
Absolutely.
And it's just about trying new things and having new experiences, and you might find what works for you.
Yeah, of course.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Paddy.
My pleasure, absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed it, and best luck with everything going forward. I can't wait to hear the album.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Thanks so much, lads.
Thanks, Paddy.
Nice.
Cheers, thanks.
Take care.